Have you ever noticed that ice cubes always float to the top of your drink? Or seen icebergs floating on the ocean? This might seem totally normal, but it's actually pretty amazing. Most things get heavier and sink when they freeze, but ice does the opposite. Today, we're going to discover the cool science behind why ice floats on water. And trust me, the answer will blow your mind. Water molecules are like best friends who can't stop holding hands. Each water molecule has a positive side and a negative side, kind of like tiny magnets. These opposite sides attract each other and create special connections called hydrogen bonds. Think of it like invisible glue that makes water molecules want to stick together all the time. This stickiness is super important for understanding why ice behaves so strangely compared to other materials. In liquid water, molecules are like people dancing at a party. They're moving around constantly but staying pretty close together. The hydrogen bonds keep forming and breaking as the molecules wiggle and jiggle around each other. Because they're always moving, they can squeeze together quite tightly, like dancers on a crowded dance floor. This movement and flexibility means liquid water molecules can pack together in a nice, compact way. The molecules are always finding the best spots to fit together as they dance around. When water gets cold enough to freeze, something magical happens. The dancing stops. The molecules slow down so much that the hydrogen bonds lock them into fixed positions, creating a beautiful crystal pattern. Instead of being flexible dancers, they become like people standing in perfectly organized rows and columns. This crystal structure is super organized and pretty, but here's the weird part: it actually takes up more space than when the molecules were dancing around freely. The rigid pattern forces the molecules to spread out more than they did as a liquid. Here's where things get really interesting. When water freezes into ice, it actually expands and takes up about 10% more space than it did as a liquid. This is like having 10 people in a room, then rearranging them in a specific pattern that suddenly needs a bigger room to fit everyone. The crystal structure of ice forces the molecules to spread out in a way that creates more empty space between them. This expansion is why water pipes can burst in winter. The ice takes up more room and pushes against the pipe walls with incredible force. Density is simply how much stuff is packed into a space. Think of it like how many marbles you can fit in a jar. Since ice takes up more space but has the same amount of water molecules, it becomes less dense than liquid water. This is super unusual because most things become denser when they freeze and would sink to the bottom. Because ice is less dense than water, it's literally lighter for its size, which means it floats. It's like having a big fluffy pillow floating on top of a small heavy rock. The bigger, fluffier thing stays on top. The fact that ice floats isn't just a cool party trick. It actually saves life on Earth. When lakes and oceans start to freeze, the ice forms a protective blanket on top instead of sinking to the bottom. This floating ice layer acts like a warm coat, keeping the water underneath from freezing solid. Fish, whales, and other sea creatures can survive the winter in the liquid water below the ice. If ice sank like most frozen things do, entire bodies of water would freeze solid from bottom to top, and most aquatic life would die during winter. Water is honestly one of the weirdest and most amazing substances on our planet. While almost everything else shrinks and gets denser when it freezes, water does the complete opposite by expanding and becoming less dense. This strange behavior happens because of water's special molecular structure and those hydrogen bonds we talked about earlier. Without this weird property, our planet would be a very different place, possibly even unable to support life as we know it. Next time you see ice floating in your drink, remember that you're witnessing one of nature's most important and unusual phenomena. What other weird things have you noticed about ice or water? Drop a comment below with the strangest water fact you know.